How machine guns, artillery, Canadians, and shotguns shaped two world wars. World War I was one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, and understanding why so many soldiers died requires looking beyond simple notions of bullets and bravery. It was not that soldiers or generals did not understand how bullets worked. By 1914, armies knew the lethality of modern rifles and machine guns. The high casualty rates resulted from a combination of technology, outdated tactics, and the scale of industrialized warfare. Armies entered the war using strategies shaped by previous centuries, relying on massed infantry assaults and cavalry charges. These tactics collided with new weapons, such as machine guns, quick-firing artillery, barbed wire, and modern rifles. A few well-placed defensive positions could wipe out waves of attacking soldiers, creating stalemates that lasted years. Artillery emerged as the dominant killer. Estimates suggest that 60 to 70% of combat deaths were caused by shells and heavy guns rather than rifle fire. Artillery could collapse trenches, destroy dugouts, and shower soldiers with lethal shrapnel, often killing instantly or leaving wounds that were impossible to survive in the muddy, unsanitary trenches. Rifles and machine guns did significant damage, but they accounted for only about 20 to 30% of deaths, with machine guns alone causing roughly 10 to 15%. Rifles remained essential for medium-range combat, sniping, and trench raids, while machine guns created near-impenetrable defensive zones, forcing armies into prolonged artillery barrages before attacks could begin. Canadian soldiers gained a reputation in World War I for being effective, aggressive, and feared by the enemy. They distinguished themselves in battles such as Vimy Ridge, Passchendaele, and the 100 Days Offensive, often conducting night raids across no man's land. These raids involved hand-to-hand combat using bayonets, grenades, and clubs. German soldiers described Canadians as relentless, sometimes claiming that they took few prisoners. This reputation, however, was earned through tactics and discipline rather than the use of shotguns. While rifles, grenades, and Lewis guns were standard, shotguns did not become prominent until the arrival of American troops in 1917. Americans introduced trench shotguns, specifically pump-action models such as the Winchester 1897, which became legendary for clearing trenches and dugouts at close range. Shotguns delivered multiple penetrating wounds, with buckshot or a single destructive slug, producing severe internal injuries and massive bleeding. Soldiers who used them described them as trench brooms, capable of quickly neutralizing enemy positions. German soldiers feared these weapons, leading to formal protests, claiming they were inhumane. The Germans did not adopt shotguns themselves due to military tradition, logistical difficulties, and existing effective close combat weapons such as grenades, pistols, knives, and flamethrowers. Introducing a new weapon late in the war would have required training, new ammunition, and supply adjustments, all under extreme wartime pressure. Shotguns did appear in World War II, but played a less central role. Canadian, American, and British forces used them primarily for clearing bunkers, buildings, and urban areas. The close-quarters nature of World War II combat was less pervasive than in static World War I trenches. Canadian soldiers in World War II were highly effective and professional, but their reputation shifted from brutal trench raiders to elite, disciplined, and resilient fighters. They distinguished themselves in operations in Dieppe, Italy, Normandy, and Northwest Europe. While shotguns were among the tools they used, the mobility of the war and combined arms tactics made them one weapon among many, rather than a defining symbol of fear. In summary, the deadliness of World War I stemmed from industrial firepower, outdated tactics, and the sheer scale of the conflict. Machine guns shaped the battlefield, artillery killed the most, and rifles remained essential for both combat and morale. Canadian soldiers earned fearsome reputations through effective and aggressive tactics, not through shotgun use. Shotguns became iconic due to American innovations late in the war, terrifying enemy soldiers and changing the psychological experience of trench fighting. In World War II, shotguns were still useful but secondary, and Canadian troops continued to be highly skilled and disciplined, leaving their brutal image from the First War behind.